Hey, Dennis, welcome to the Value Driven Marketing Podcast. Very excited to have you today. How are you doing?
Hi, Elena. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. It's Friday and the sun is out, so can't be
Which is
better.
good in Germany, right?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So good to have you, Dennis. To begin with, can you tell us a bit about your agency, WOB? What do you guys do? How are things
Sure,
with you?
sure. So thanks for having me, Elena. And let me start with my role as Chief Growth Officer at WOB. So WOB, it's a leading B2B agency in the DACH region. And of course, we're a partner of BBN, the world's B2B agency. And we help mid-market and enterprise clients turn marketing into a revenue engine by aligning data, technology, and creativity across the full go-to-market, so to say. My job as CGO at WOB has like three core jobs, so to say: revenue impact, operating model, and leadership. So when it's about revenue impact, I link marketing to business outcomes through demand generation, ABM, attribution, and for the operating model, I try to build capabilities, processes, and martech so teams can execute consistently and scale.
Mm-hmm.
And leadership is something that's very important for me. I try to, create clarity, align marketing and sales, enable people to perform internally and also on the client side. So, in short, I make sure marketing proves its value and drives pipeline, of course. And I'm making sure that marketing delivers a consistent customer experience across markets. So that's my drive when it comes to the professional life. I'm very demanding and also supportive. So high standards, high trust. That's something I would describe myself. And I try to remove blockers from my people, protect focus, and I'm making sure everyone understands the why so they can own their how. That's kind of like what drives me from a personal perspective.
That's super interesting. And you seem to have an exciting role, but also quite complex.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Makes my head spin just to think about the things you described.
You could do it also, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you. That's kind. So let's dive into our topic today, expanding into Germany. Of course, Germany, it's a big market, it's a big economy, very attractive. But let's talk about what it really means being able to penetrate that market. I'm very curious. Let's start with the culture and mentality. Can you please tell me more about how do people do business in Germany, about the different cultural aspects that one should pay attention to?
Well, Germany is a very special market when it comes to the mentality and when it comes to the culture. Like, there's lots of differences compared to other countries, of course. And I would say, like, the cultural differences one needs to pay attention to would be when it comes to communication style. Um, we want to be very direct, respectful, and purpose led.
Mm-hmm.
So in Germany, precision and preparation, they matter. Like, they matter lots. Like facts, structure, next steps. That's something that we think is very important for our communication. And we're often tough on the issue, but very kind to the person. That's what we try to do. And therefore, we want to give or get feedback that's very specific, actionable, and ideally timely. So that's something that we highly appreciate. And we also prefer, of course, written follow-ups.
Okay.
Like, that's very important for my clients, like decisions, owners, deadlines, so nothing gets lost. So that's something that's really important to be like on point and also very reliable.
So come prepared and do your homework and do
Yes,
a good follow up. Okay,
yes.
okay, that's very interesting. And in
hmm
terms of making decisions, how would you feel? Um, do you feel there's anything that's specific and one needs to pay attention to?
Yes, because like people in my role and like comparable roles, they need to make lots of decision during the
Mm-hmm.
day, and they need to be fast. So I want to be like, when it's about my decision making style, evidence driven, fast, and also accountable. So it's about principles first. Um,
Okay.
so align on the why, and then and put together all the success criteria and also constraints. For me, it's very important to create context before making a decision. So using available evidence like customer insights or pipeline, whatever, and then also involve all the owners and those impacted by my decision. Because I think that you cannot own the outcome that comes
Mm-hmm.
with the decision which is being made by you when you do not like create some context and when you do not know why you're making the decision in the right or wrong direction. So after making a decision, it should be communicated. Owners should be assigned. Timelines should be communicated, and then there should also be checkpoints. And also, your decision should be reviewed at some point, and you can also course correct. So, evidence-driven, fast, and accountable would be the answer of like the decision-making style, which is preferred in Germany or I prefer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. And you mentioned something that you cannot so there's a process of making decisions. You wouldn't necessarily um own the end result, but rather the decision making process. And I'm wondering what's the German attitude towards risk?
Hmm.
Always working with an external partner comes
Oh yeah.
with a risk, would assume.
Yeah. Well, I think I need to start with like we're talking about the work life here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
your work life changes when there's partners influencing the quality of your work life because you have to rely and you have to trust like foreign people, like people you don't know. They
Mm-hmm.
offer a specific service
Yeah.
and your job life, your work life depends on quality, reliability, and such. So for me, like when it comes to the attitude towards my work life, it may sound really old fashioned, but for me and my working life, the mottos are work hard, play hard, and hard work pays off. So I want
Mm-hmm.
all the partners to bring the same attitude. I'm also patient because I know that hard work sometimes does not pay off immediately, and is not immediately noticeable, like example given on my bank account. But good results sometimes take time. Good partnership take time, and therefore it is also something that requires confidence in yourself and your environment. And the
Mm-hmm.
partners you choose, they create the environment you surround yourself with. And that's risky because there's pitches, there's sales decks, there's like, okay, we're the best of the best. And then you find out, oh no, they're not because they bring another attitude. They don't believe in hard work pays off. They about the fast buck. They want to make money really fast at your cost. And sometimes you're wrong. So you make decisions and sometimes you make the wrong ones. So it's very risky to summon partners, which influence the quality of your work life. And risk for me is it's just, how can I say that? Um, it's not just about having good experiences. Your work life is not just about making good experiences because bad ones are also part of becoming better. So it doesn't make well, it's not a lot of fun, like to take risks and then you fail. But it's important to always learn from your experiences. And if your mindset is focused on growth, then it's worth having the courage to take manageable risks.
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know Otherwise there's no growth at all. So sometimes I have to take risks to make my work life better, but I need to consider the attitude of all the partners that I let into my work life, that I
Mm-hmm.
invite to influence my life. And making the wrong decision, it happens, shit happens, sorry, but it's a part of growth. So it's not a bad thing, it's necessary. So it's always important to ask yourself why you failed and when or where you were part of the problem,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you don't see stuff you should have seen. Sometimes you do not spend time in order to make the right decision because you didn't create the context for your decision. And then you cannot blame people or your partner. And we as a partner get often blamed. But
Mm-hmm.
then we have also been part of the problem because I didn't ask the right questions in the beginning, maybe. So that's something I would consider as a failure from my side as a consultant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that's something I can learn from when I, like experience it as a professional situation and not take it personally. So, um, in in my opinion, self-reflection, what I just described, and a change of perspective are extremely important when things haven't turned out the way they should have or you wanted them to. So this allows you to learn and do things better in the future because from my point of view, there's no success without failure. And I can
Yeah.
promise people that since I've bring like over 18 years of professional experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned something very important. You mentioned the trust. How would you advise um, a company that's assessing whether they should try and tap into Germany? How would you advise them about building that trust, especially as a newcomer?
Do not overpromise
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and do not make vague commitments because it's something that doesn't go with trust.
Okay.
Saying we'll figure it out, that's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people and their work life depends on budgets and investments, and they are not doing a great job when it's all about costs. It should be an investment in a partner because they bring something to the table that's valuable, enhancing a work life experience, which is strongly connected to the private life, you know? So I want to sit at the table with partners. They bring a concrete plan, ownerships, timelines, because otherwise they could be seen as unprofessional. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry, we get this done by, I don't know, soon. No, I don't think so. Because I need to feel secured. So because remember, like we are highly appreciating precision, reliability, and clear next steps. It's expected. That's not something we would be like, oh, they're so great because they say it's done by tomorrow and they deliver by tomorrow. For us, it's like it's a fact. This has to
Mm-hmm.
happen. Otherwise, we do not talk about business. So
Mm-hmm.
do not overpromise or make vague commitments. That's something I would consider as a faux pas in the business context.
Okay.
And the second thing is casualness with hierarchy or time.
Okay.
You know,
Can you detail?
yeah, like dropping first names too quickly in formal contexts.
Mm-hmm.
That's something in German we do not do because it's like Herr or Frau. You know, because like first meeting with a CMO of like a huge company, I wouldn't enter the room like, "Hello, Klaus."
Mm-hmm.
That would be something I could leave immediately. It's like, okay, please leave. This is not a respectful level that we're entering here. I do not trust you because you're not professional. You do not act in a very professional way. So
Mm-hmm.
Klaus Müller, who appears to be older than me and the CMO of a global enterprise, when he offers to say Klaus, then I can do it, but not
Okay.
unasked.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that would be something that he would advise WB to bring another consultant and not Dennis Güth anymore because he doesn't want to work with me. And this is not like on a professional base. It's just like a personal issue. So don't mess with the first name too quickly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So dropping first names too quickly in formal context would be a faux pas, or being late or unprepared. Simple as that. Being on time, showing up prepared, that's a must. Addressing people appropriately until invited otherwise. It matters
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Okay, okay, duly noted. And in terms of, dropping first names, I know also the language kind of demands this sort of
Mm-hmm.
politeness. And I was wondering, how open are businesses in Germany into working with another company that's maybe not speaking German, or they don't have people that
Mm-hmm.
speak German? Like, is this an element that's a no-go? Is this a mandatory criteria for working with a partner that they need to be um, have an employee that's proficient in German? So is language a mandatory criteria, essentially?
Um, when you think of like communication, language plays a huge role, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
communication has a lot of other aspects and factors. They play a huge role because the German market is not like in general closed or not open to make business with partners or other companies, but like I already said, there should be a specific business etiquette people need to consider. You know, it's like when you're collaborating or when you're working for and with German situated enterprises, be on time.
Mm-hmm.
And being on time means 5 minutes before the meeting starts.
Okay,
You
so not
should
right
know that. Because in the US, you're going to be
away.
the only person in the room when you're on time in a German thinking, because people arrive like 10 or 15 minutes after your calendar invite. And you might wonder, why is no one here? Don't do that in Germany. Don't be 15 minutes late. That
Mm-hmm.
that could be the first and last meeting for you.
Bigger red
with
flag.
the client. It's like, oh, we're
Mhm.
so professional, we're so reliable. Oh, he appeared 15 minutes late, and you think it's normal. It's not.
Yeah.
So you have to think of that. And if running late, you can inform proactively. That's no problem because there could be traffic, there could be whatever. Your child has an issue, whatever.
Hmm.
We're still humans, but it's very important to be on time. And on time is like a cultural difference of like 10 to 20 minutes when it comes to the US and Germany. And just by
Okay.
knowing that, it makes a huge difference. And of course, when you value somebody or when you really want to do business with someone, it shows your value because you come prepared. When you're not prepared and you be like, okay, what's this meeting for? Or, oh, I promised to do this and that, but I didn't. That's like a sign of miscommunication. So it's not very professional. Or it's something that's like telling me, okay, you're not valuable enough because there were so many more important people in my life. You are on number 10, but I want all your money, all your budget. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I don't think so. So be on time, come prepared. And of course, um, quality beats flash in Germany.
Okay.
Um, so that's something that's really important, like how to communicate. It's like something that goes into the direction of overpromising. It's the same ballpark to, deliver a slide deck, which is so flashy, so Hollywood style. Bring quality to the table, bring substance over showmanship in decks and demos.
Hmm.
Because for decision makers in key industries, they don't care if the consultant or the slide deck is so flashy. They need to make the right decision because they invest lots of money and they could lose their job. And one argument couldn't be like, okay, look at this guy. He was so flashy. Slide deck was awesome, but he lacks true partnership, and then I don't have a job anymore. So that's really important to think of the substance first and
Hmm.
to really know why you want to work with the client. And the why shouldn't be to make more money.
Yeah.
So
So
bring
it should
substance
be
first.
two-way. You should know what value you're delivering from
Yes.
them. Hmm.
So why is it a good thing that a partner considers us to work with from his perspective? And the slide deck or the sales material should gather around the why. And then you present, okay, how would we tackle your challenge perfectly? And then trust is going to be built. And that was like, okay, look at us. We're so shiny. Look at our building. Look at our uniforms, whatever. And then,
Hmm.
okay, what do you bring to the table to make my work life better? Yeah, we have to think that, but we're going to figure it out. I
Yeah.
don't think that you're going to make business or do business with the client. Yeah. So that's a couple of things that go unnoticed sometimes, but are so important because that's like below the surface.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
sometimes you just don't know why business did not happen. You just don't
Yeah.
know because you didn't do anything wrong. It's like, so, but you've been 10 minutes late twice and you think this was on time. It's so
Hmm.
small,
Yeah.
but with a huge result, no business. Yeah. And then speaking of doing business in Germany, you asked like, how open are German enterprises in general to do business with external vendors, for
Hmm. Hmm.
example? Um, they're open because it's
Yeah.
about substance. And speaking of hybrid workforce, speaking of it doesn't matter where you're situated at,
Okay.
they're open in general, but they're very cautious and methodical. They do not decide like this. Openness, I would say, varies by size and sector.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because like mid-market or like Mittelstand and enterprises do buy from vendors, especially when bringing like specialized expertise, scalability, or speed to the table. That's something they consider. But you can expect rigorous due diligence, like
Okay.
security, data privacy, GDPR, compliance, references, clear SLAs. That's something that's an absolute must. And that's like the gatekeeper. When there's no GDPR compliancy, you're out.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can present like 100 slides about your portfolio, blah, 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 blah. When this is not going to happen, it's not going to happen. So that like GDPR first, that's Germany. Um, and of course, like relationship and reliability matter, like I already said, because when you're in, you're in. It's about long-term relationships
Hmm. Hmm.
because they don't want to choose their vendor once a year or twice a year.
Yeah.
It's always work. It's always pitches. It's always meetings. It's always stakeholders, whatever. So when you're in, you're in. That's very important for you to know. You get in by proven delivery, a culture fit, And often when these kind of things outweigh flashy pitches. I'm not saying your slide deck should suck.
But it should have some substance first.
Yes, substance first. Why is it a good idea for him or her to work with us? Why is this a no-brainer to choose us? And the answer always comes from their perspective, not from yours. And
So
it's always about, sorry?
be very client focused, know the market, know their.
Yes. Of course, you want to make more business, but doing business should be a consequence of your acting and not the goal. Then
And
you
because
could be more successful.
absolutely, and you've dropped hints about what could make or break a deal. About knowing the business etiquette, don't overpromise. Could you summarize them? Is there something else that could break a deal with a German enterprise?
Sure. Like when you are not flexible enough, for example, because like most of the time it's very important decisions. Their jobs depend on their decisions. And they do not tend to decide whether to work with a vendor on a yearly or a 3-year space or something. They want to start with a pilot project. So this is something that has also become extremely important in my job or role to, like my contacts often don't want to commit and they want to start with a pilot project, because they're insecure. So that's why it's so important for me to communicate like the overall strategic outline and then stay flexible enough to, like divide it into an overall scope, but divide it into sections and phases. And then start with like phase 1, that's a pilot project. But this is also something I can stack up during, like moving forward together. It's something like getting the foot in the door in the most trustworthy way, and then they might let you in the house. That's something that could make or break a deal. Like, okay, this is the big solution. It's going to cost you like $500,000. It's about 3 years. It's do or die. This could break a deal. Is that okay? Let's write the strategic outline for your project. Let's come with a business case. Let's try to win the stakeholders over with the concept paper, whatever. You pay $15, $15,000 for it. And then you can decide whether working with us or not. So consider this as a strategic blueprint that's worth something in the end, because you get a clear vision delivered by us who know our way around such things. And this gives like the flexibility on the other side as well. It's like I do not lose my job when these people are not the partner I want, but I want to try them out because they seem to be really good, So that could make or break a deal. And another 3 or 4 key factors could be like a clear business case when it is missing, like quantified impact, timeline to value, and then aligned success metrics. That's something that we always try to find out what's the business strategy and what are the sales targets.
Okay.
Because our marketing department that we're talking to, they want to place a campaign project. We need to do this and that until then and then. And I'm like, okay, what's the objective? We need to generate leads. And I'm like, how many? We don't know. Okay. Until when? We don't know. What's a lead? Is it are we speaking of MQLs, SQLs, SALs? I don't know. Please tell me, because we need to prove the value and the worth of marketing activities. I cannot do that when there's no business case. So if it's about a revenue gain of like $20 million, for example, and we need to run a program that's like 4 weeks, I need to know a couple of things to, like reverse the funnel to calculate something of like 2 million impressions we would need with a conversion rate of XYZ to get there. And when there's no clear business case, it could make or break a deal. Why would we need a very, very expensive website? What does it do? Why is it important for me to do it? I have to prove effectiveness, and effectiveness always correlates with sales targets. Otherwise, you just, like, I don't know, you paint pictures, and it's not the time anymore to do so, hoping that it does something for your business. So this makes or breaks a deal, because you put marketing in the driver's seat. They change the narrative. They start to ask the right questions because they're business driven, and they get heard. So, oh, okay, because you know how to communicate to my people that should buy my stuff. You can do it. I can't. I can sell my product, but I need to talk to the right people. You can prove and you can do that. So I talk to more right people tomorrow. Great. Where can I pay you guys? So that's a
Yeah.
whole other discussion. And we try to enable it by changing the perspective marketing is operating. So trust and credibility comes from that. And that's also a deal breaker when there's no trust and when there's no credibility. That's so important for us to win awards with campaign cases.
Mm-hmm.
So they know, okay, Dennis is asking a lot of questions. Why is he doing that? Because I need to create context for a business case, because the business case puts you into the driver's seat and your work life gets better because you're complaining that your budget is not enough. You get challenged by whatever. And when the big guys are coming up with the business strategy, I wasn't invited,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So trust and credibility comes from that. So I do not, like as a consultant, I do not give the client every day what he wants. I try to give him what he needs. And sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's not because they suck at their job. No, it's just another time. And I get to, like that's why I love my job. I get to get all kinds of perspectives. And I can put them together to create context. And like, okay, let's change perspectives into the CSO mindset, the CIO, CDO, Mr. CMO. Let's take a holistic look on that. And then he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to not talk to me anymore. So that's like a deal maker. It's like, I need to talk to these guys because they come up with programs that definitely um, uh, pay my bills, so to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then fit and governance, of course, and then like we know, it's a price value balance all the time. So that's something
Absolutely.
that could make or break a deal.
Super interesting point on being flexible. I think for some companies and in some cultural mentalities, um, a go, no go. When someone says, "Let's do a pilot," oh, that's kind of a failure, but it's actually a step in the door, as you said,
Yes,
and building trust.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So
That
very,
that
very good point.
because
Good.
sometimes they cannot make a decision, which is so expensive
Yeah.
or so much risk, they hesitate.
So
Um,
it's about splitting risk in the end.
Yes, yeah.
Two
Because
steps.
you're about starting a win-win partnership, right? So you invest also. So, okay, I could go home with the whole cake, but I'm also happy to offer the first piece because I know it's so delicious. These guys want to have the whole cake,
Yeah.
but taking it back home, they wouldn't be able to taste it.
Absolutely. Yeah, makes total sense. And we've talked about being client centric. That also involves researching the companies you're going after. Can you please give us some pointers into what are the different places, let's say, sources that one should search for to be able to learn more about the ecosystem, the businesses, and so on?
I wouldn't say that Germany is like really different than other markets when you try to understand the market because there's always like industry and market data.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend dig deep into that.
Yeah.
Like Statista in Germany, the Federal Statistical Office, Bitkom for the digital economy, and there's certain industry associations like the VDMA. It's like an association with lots of industry players, and just like dig deep into the VDMA, for example, you get a lot of insights about all the companies and enterprises that are part of this association.
Mm-hmm.
And also like business press and insights like Handelsblatt, Wirtschaftswoche, FAZ, when it comes to like economy and finance in Germany. Also Horizont and WNV, marketing, advertising, everything's in there. And then, of course, policy and compliance standards, B2B marketing communities, such as like DD Mexico. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. Company intel, like sometimes that there's a request from a company I haven't heard of, which happens lots because we work with hidden champions. It's like in B2B, there's like, okay, we're leading the market, the global market. We make like 2 billion revenue per year, and you get to know us because you're sitting in cars where our product is in there, and then blah blah blah. And then I'm really surprised. It's like, oh wow, this brand accompanies me my whole life. I've never heard of it, and this is great. What they do is awesome. And then I go to North Data and try to get more insights about them. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the company background, like revenue and stuff, to get a feeling about like how big is the client and where does it operate, how many different branches are there, and where's the main branch that says what happens. Very important for marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something I do, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, of course. And yeah, procurement and tenders, which is very common in your field, I think. Yeah, so that's what I would do.
And you mentioned LinkedIn. Is it the best channel to reach German decision makers? What would be the best channels to kind of reach them?
LinkedIn, of course,
Hmm.
always a safe bet. And I think it will also be more important in the next couple of years on a personal
Okay.
base, because trust and reliability is best being built on a personal base. It's like I do not buy from companies; I buy from people.
Yeah.
So this is a people business network. So it makes absolutely lots of sense to direct to address directly a primary for B2B decision makers, like you said, play like a thought leadership role, do ABM, spend money on targeted ads. That could be very effective. And then when it comes to events, I would go to I would visit the Mexico.
Hmm.
Or there's a thing like B2B marketing days, the Hannover Messe, like there's lots of industry fairs. I would check them out and then pick some. Of course, email and marketing automation, industry media, search, and also partnerships, like the VDMA.
Hmm.
Because when when you connect with them, they could be very, very important for you to refer you guys to, I don't know, the who's who in the German industry world. Could be very effective too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And in terms of assets, what are the things that you need to go prepare with? So I'm thinking marketing assets, assets that
hmm
could support the communication and building of that essential trust.
Act German. Bring your value proposition in German, like pain points, outcomes, ROI, localize, not just translate it. Like
Okay.
act German. That's very important to build trust. And Germans hesitate. They hesitate a lot. It's so easy to get into very exciting small talk in California. It's very easy
Hmm.
to do that with foreign people. You never met them before, and your talk ends like being best friends or something. In Germany, this wouldn't happen. They would be afraid or scared. Like two guys waiting for a bus, and one guy approaches the other and just tries to talk to him. He would be like, okay, threatened. He would feel threatened or something.
Okay.
It's very hard to get access into the circle of trust. But when
Hmm.
you're in, and you make your way in by acting very authentic. So your marketing assets should be localized, not just translated, because it's
Okay.
not trustworthy to, okay, we do not value you enough, So why would I value you? You're not even from Germany. So that
Hmm.
could be a problem. And then, of course, a website with a Deutschland version,
Okay.
with the German version. That's a must. Impressum, Datenschutz, cookies and stuff, all GDPR compliant, of
Hmm.
course. Proven credibility, bring references to the table, certifications. German love certifications and references.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
again, you need to enter the circle of trust. You speak German, you act authentic, you deliver a good understanding of how markets are operating here, and then you bring references and certifications. So I want to know more, because you entered the circle of this could be my partner. Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, of course, messaging and assets like German pitch deck, one pagers, product sheets, because in the industry, decision makers are not always bringing good English to the table
Hmm.
still.
Okay.
So this could be a deal breaker when your stuff is not localized. And sometimes it's hard to imagine, so where do we live and what time, but still executives or like the C-suite members, they're not very comfortable with speaking or communicating in English, and that's something to be considered here.
Hmm.
Content engine, build trust through content, because people try to read stuff before they get to know you. And following LinkedIn, 95% are not in a buying mode. So
Yeah.
create content like blogs, white papers, interviews, webinars. Yeah, and then lead gen stack. I noted down. GDPR compliant forms, double opt-in, marketing automation. I don't need to tell you that, but
Yeah.
you
But
know,
make it localized, as you said, and invest time
yes,
into
invest
building
time.
that. Yeah.
Yes, it's a good investment, but otherwise, like you spend a lot of money and then you don't bring deals back home because it's about the homework you didn't do, you know. And yeah, sales enablement, legal and procurement, voice and tone guide. Who are we? What do we sound like? What cultural aspects do we have to consider, like we had in the beginning of our discussion here? And a clear go-to-market plan um, based on a strategy that could make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay, so lots of good idea in here. I'm wondering if we can dissect maybe a practical example of a company that has successfully penetrated the German market. So they
I knew you
start.
would ask that. I knew it. So yeah, I thought of an example in advance, and I thought of one that almost everybody knows, so they could identify with it. I brought Salesforce
Okay.
because they're American, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, okay, let's conquer Germany. And what they did, I mean, it's a great example of how to enter Germany the right way. And they led with trust and localization.
Okay.
So practically, that meant a German legal entity and offices, German language, product, support and marketing, plus a website with full legal compliance, Impressum, Datenschutz. They doubled down on security and data protection, like GDPR readiness, ISO certifications, and later EU German data residency via Hyperforce, whatever, because it's all about data and where does the data come from or where does it go? That's like the first question. When you cannot answer that, there's no need to talk to you any further.
Okay. Wow.
So that's a deal breaker, and that's like the gatekeeper. Data security here is so powerful that it how can I say that in a most respectful way, that it makes it hard for people and human beings to drive things forward sometimes, because we rely on data security so much and GDPR so much that we sometimes make decisions that are not making a lot of sense because something is written here, we cannot do it, but we try to be an innovative country. So for you guys, if you want to make business in Germany, or if you want to do business with German enterprises, these are the things that you do. Like you have to do it like Salesforce. Yeah. So the go-to-market strategy was ecosystem first, like German-speaking account executives and solution engineers, strong alliances with global system integrators like Accenture, Deloitte, PwC, you name them, and local partners. Yeah, so industry specific offerings that fit SAP in heavy environments, also very important because SAP runs Germany and Germany runs SAP. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Think manufacturing and automotive cloud. That's SAP business, you know. Yeah, and Salesforce built community and credibility through Salesforce World Tour in Germany, Trailblazer user groups, and strong local customer references. So they really knew how to do it because they spend a lot of time, a lot of money on coming up with a fully localized strategy in every way. The result, it's a robust DACH footprint. And they fastened up enterprise sales cycles due to trust assets, scalable pipeline via partners and community. So business was being made so much faster as expected because it's like the snowball principle. And that needed to be set up on a very trustworthy base. And how they reached that, I just told you. And the key lesson is in Germany, trust is the currency.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
as simple as
It
that,
sounds like that.
and it's very difficult. But it's good that you know people in Germany. There's an agency called WOB, so if you have any questions, you can reach us anytime. Yeah, so that's like the overall example I want to bring to this meeting here. And yeah, the key lesson also is to integrate with the existing stack and win vertical lighthouse accounts, and then going to scale. You know, so don't think about scale first.
Yeah, makes total sense. Dennis, I'm wondering if there's like a final piece of advice you would give a business owner that is considering Germany as market expansion for its business?
It's so cool that you asked this question now because it's connected to the Salesforce example so well. I would say depth beats breadth. So go deep, be specific, start with one or two verticals, win lighthouse customers, document ROI, and scale through your partners. And with governance and cadence, these two will keep you on course. You know, so lead with trust. That's number one, and then focus.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right? So you earn the right to sell by proving data protection, compliance, reliability first, and then localize deeply, like I said, language, legal support, and then try to integrate with existing stacks, often SAP, to be like, we are a very flexible partner because the guys you're talking to, they might not take decisions solely on their perspective. They need to talk to other guys, and they'd be like, no, we're not changing anything here because I spent $2 billion for the MarTech stack we just started.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about like changing the perspective, helping the guys you talk to bring something to the discussion that makes sense, which is not too much work or not, like a deal breaker when it comes to the tech solution or whatever. So lead with trust, then focus, and go deep before you go wide. That's something that I would recommend. Try to understand the German market first before you overload it with your logo on all the channels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So super insightful, very, very good pointers. Dennis, thank you so much. Our listeners will know where to find yourself, WOB as well. And I will also try to link the different events names you
Mhm.
just mentioned within the description. Thank you so much. This has been super, super interesting for me to learn so many things about the German culture. And good having you here.
So glad, so glad. Anytime. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dennis.